Ready to invest in property, but not sure what type of property to buy? When buying an investment property, the type of property you buy impacts the long and short-term returns on your investment. In this video, I'll discuss 5 of the different types of residential investment properties and how they affect your bottom line when you choose them as your investment. Hi, my name is Keith Grisman, founder of Property Only, and welcome to our video series, The Why, What, When and How of Property Investing. In today's video, we will look at 5 different types of investment properties: rural acreage, vacant land, units, houses, and finally duplexes and townhouses. An early tip though, keep in mind that overall it is the land that goes up in value where buildings do depreciate over time. Rural properties. When considering rural properties as an investment, you have to keep in mind the maintenance of the property. Who is mowing the lawns and maintaining the grounds? Getting tenants to look after a large rural property can often be a nightmare for the property manager. The costs for maintenance often have to be carried by the landlord, which can decrease the cash flow and return of the property. And while rural properties have a large land content that can appreciate, the income from the property compared to the value is often quite low. So while rural land can be a great investment strategy, if you get the location and the future zoning right, this often requires specialist knowledge and can be above the understanding of most residential investors. Vacant land. On the premise that land goes up in value and buildings go down, land banking in the right area may seem an excellent investment strategy. After all, it's often half the price of a completed property. However, in most cases, land does not provide an income. Furthermore, under Australian tax rules, generally if an asset does not provide income, then the costs are not tax deductible, and therefore all the expenses are met with after-tax earnings. Many banks will also loan a lesser percentage than on homes. Overall, holding land can be an excellent investment for those with very high incomes or equity positions, but are not for most property investors. Units. Units, apartments, condos are all names used in different areas for essentially what we would describe as a multi-home complex. These have typically 4 or more, sometimes up to 100 residences. In these complexes, you typically own a share of the land according to the number of units in the complex. As such, often a greater percentage of the purchase price of your investment is made up of the buildings as opposed to the land. On the positive side, units often have lower council rates or land tax where applicable, and are generally well located to facilities, city centres and public transport. It is for these reasons that units can be good investments and can go up in value. Multi-unit complexes usually have a body corporate or an owners committee. They supervise the rules, maintenance and repairs for the outside of the building and the grounds. The control of your investment is partly governed by that committee. In our experience though, there is always one owner in these committees that frankly is a dickhead. We highly suggest you invest in complexes with 6 or less units, less owners, less chance of a dickhead. And finally, I suggest staying away from complexes with lifts and swimming pools, as they can be costly items to maintain, increasing body corporate fees and decreasing your income. In general, we don't recommend investing in multi-unit complexes, but they can be right in the right area, the right circumstances for the right person. Houses. Houses are best described as a freestanding building on a freehold block of land. I personally prefer houses between $350,000 to $500,000. This is based on a combination of a number of factors. These are future capital growth, rental returns, capital or deposit required, and the general demand these types of properties have for both tenants and homeowners in case they ever want to sell. This is provided they are located in areas that have a diverse employment base with ample facilities and infrastructure nearby. By this, I mean a town or village centre, local shops, schools, easy road access in and out, government facilities, beaches and parks. One of the advantages of houses is you own 100% of the land, and as such, we really prefer land parcels with a minimum size of 400 square metres, but no greater than 1,000 square metres. We think the best configuration is 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and ideally double car accommodation. A fenced enclosed yard for children and pets can be highly desirable for tenants. Finally, the flatter the block the better. We always suggest clients buy homes that are new or near new at least built since post 1990. This is to take advantage of the government depreciation changes at that time. More details on that in later videos. Always consider the maintenance costs in the first 5 years of ownership when buying. Houses are our preferred method for property investment without a doubt. Duplexes and townhouses. We save this for last because these are a mix of units and houses. A duplex is best described as two homes built on one freehold block of land, sometimes with their own titles. Often they share a common wall, also known as a party wall, but they don't have to. The most attractive duplexes, however, are two independent, freestanding homes on one title. The preferred configuration is again 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a double garage. A duplex can be attractive because you own at least 50% of the land, usually with an identified yard that is fenced and secure. Entry-level prices for a duplex can often be 2/3 of the price of a house in the same area because of the reduced land component. They do, however, typically provide better percentage rental returns than houses and are eligible to receive the same tax incentives as houses. We like to try and own both duplexes on the one land title. This means you own 100% of the property, but you get twice the weekly rental return. Small townhouse complexes, 6 or less, can offer similar outcomes to a duplex, but with reduced overall values per townhome based on owning a lesser percentage of the land. We do not recommend investments in townhouse complexes with more than 6 units, largely due to the body corporate circumstances. In conclusion, we suggest that freestanding houses or duplexes are the best residential property investments. They provide the highest percentage of land ownership while considering overall income and capital growth, as well as the ongoing maintenance. And you don't have to deal with that difficult body corporate person. Now don't forget, we've already prepared a property criteria sheet for you that will help you select the right property. You can download that sheet by clicking on the link below the video. Enter your name and email and you should find it in your inbox straight away. Next, our video is on timing. When is the right time to buy your first property or your next property? In the meantime, thanks for watching. Rural properties. The heading's in there. We don't have any. Smiling, happy thoughts?